A lot of times you're focused on how do you measure success within ERM, and generally speaking, I don't know that there's one specific answer, but for me, as I go into organizations that have a solid enterprise risk management program, you know that risk is a part of their everyday life. It's a part of the culture. It's a part of what they're doing during meetings as new projects are identified, that the risk discussions are occurring on a regular basis. Yes, there is the formality with clear documentation, risk registers, and things along those lines, but really it's about building in that thought process and making sure you're all aligned. Risk appetite's a big piece. Are we all aligned on what the organization views as risk and acceptable risk? So that to me is one of the starting points for evaluating, how to actually measure success.
One of the simple ways we observe with the partners that we're working with and the clients that we're working with that the enterprise risk mindset has taken hold is when we start consistently hearing questions around, well, what will the impact of that be? Or how likely is that to happen? Or what will it mean if? And we can see that folks are connecting new ideas, new projects, new priorities, innovation back to a business impact and back to a risk consideration. And you start to hear that in conversations. It's nothing that's measured or specific or a number anywhere, but it's a cultural indicator that mindset has taken hold. And that's truly important in enterprise risk being a valuable tool and enabler for the organization. So when we talk with the clients that we're working with around what does maturity mean in the enterprise risk management space, it's very similar to the other topics. Maturity is a continuum, right? It's an iterative, ongoing effort. And at some point, you're probably going to decide, I'm mature enough for where I am right now in my life or in my business or in my program. That doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. So we often see annual reviews, independent reviews. So once enterprise risk management is up and going, maybe an internal audit team or an independent assessor might be a useful tool in assessing, are you truly where you need to be from a maturity perspective with your ERM program? But it is a continuum and it is iterative. And at some point you'll get to a kind of steady state where this works well for us. Just don't get comfortable there if it's something that might need to change. So use maturity as a gauge, but also know that it's not a continued, I must continue to climb the mountain forever. You might get to a good enough point that works really well for your organization.
Maturity is something that you define where you want to be as an organization. It's not something that there is a textbook answer. I think we talked earlier about every enterprise risk program needs to reflect the culture of the organization. And in doing so, you can help decide what level of maturity do I need to be. And it may be a spectrum of things. It may be year one, you want to be at a certain level, year five, a different one, and you're striving to implement that. I recently had an organization that took the conversation around risk and risk appetite and applied it to their third parties just to understand, okay, as an organization, how comfortable are we with, say, offshoring at this point in time? And different levels of perspective came out. And ultimately, the conversation was held to say, this is where we feel like we should be going forward based upon the information we have from the board, executives, things like that. And they were all able to use that and then apply it across the organization.
Visit our website for more resources on enterprise risk management. There's information around our process accelerator to help you get started with your ERM program and things like our ERM white paper. And we'll continue to provide more resources as we go. Look to see you there.